Let's go through an example. These are some of the key features of the Knox SDK. The Knox SDK can toggle and manage almost every hardware feature of supported Samsung devices. In this example, we'll focus on the hardware management features that could be particularly useful for frontline use cases. More specifically, we'll show you how to remap the volume up key to launch an app, and also how to enable touch sensitivity so that the device user can operate the device even with gloves on. To access developer-specific information, visit developer.samsungknox.com. Today, we're focusing on the Knox SDK. The developer documentation is your one-stop shop for all things Knox SDK. This is where you can find the API references, license information, RFAQs, and in-depth knowledge base articles. It's even home to the Samsung Web Services documentation. Before we begin, you'll need to set up your Android environment, install the Knox SDK, and generate your own development license. See the Get Started section in the Knox SDK Developer Guide for steps on how to do this. We'll be using the Get Started with the Knox SDK sample app as a basic template. The sample app can be downloaded from the Knox Partner dashboard, along with many other sample apps. Open the Android Studio project in the file that was downloaded. After you build the project, you should see something similar to this in Android Studio. First, let's open the constants.java file. You'll notice that there are to-do comments and instructions for what needs to be completed. This file is where we'll enter the development license key. Let's go through how to remap the volume up key to launch an app. First, you'll need to check the hardware state. In this example, we're checking the hard key intent reporting state by calling kcsm.getHardKeyIntentState. Then, to toggle the hard key intent reporting on or off, set the intent to the opposite of the return value. You'll then need to create a new broadcast receiver class to listen for the key press intent. In this example, we'll launch the Google Chrome app when the volume up key is pressed. You'll need to add a button to call the new method toggle hard key intent, as well as declare a broadcast receiver as one of the application's components. The set hard key intent state API requires the caller to have the Knox custom system permission. Required permissions can be found in the API documentation. For full API references, please refer to the Knox SDK developer documentation. Next, add the required permissions to the Android manifest. Build your app in Android Studio and push the app to a device. After toggling the hard key intent reporting on, when the volume up key is pressed, Google Chrome is launched and you'll see a pop-up stating that the volume up key was pressed. And that's it. Now, we'll go through how to turn on touch sensitivity. Increasing the touch sensitivity allows you to use the device even if you have gloves on. This is a new API, only available for devices running Knox 3.7.1, API level 34, or higher. Knox 3.7.1 introduced the use of Android content providers to manage devices and peripherals, using Android methods to configure Knox settings stored as key value pairs. Past Knox releases use custom Knox methods to manage each atomic Knox setting. Now, the previous method of remapping hardware keys can also be done using content providers. Before we begin, we need to make sure that our Compile SDK version and Build Tools version are compatible. This is the minimum version requirement. Also, make sure that you've installed the correct Knox SDK version. Let's create a method to turn touch sensitivity on, and add a button to call this new method like we did before. Key touch sensitivity requires the Knox NDA device settings RT permission. This should be added to the Android manifest file as previously shown. Because this is a runtime permission, you also need to check for this permission at runtime and request it if it hasn't been granted yet. Rebuild your app again in Android Studio and re-push the app to a device. When enabling touch sensitivity for the first time, you'll see a pop-up on the device requesting the runtime permission, like we implemented. Once the permission is allowed by the device user, the touch sensitivity is turned on. You can check this in the device settings. And that's it.